After that, started working for a biopharmaceutical company around 4 years in marketing and sales. I decided to quit the job for 6 months. You will be able to get like between 14 lakhs to 18 lakhs.
So far, how many companies have rejected you?
First round is all basic questions like a service-based company will always give you exposure to.
Hey everyone, welcome back to eLearning Bridge. I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. So I am back with another amazing and really interesting podcast for all aspiring data professionals and my lovely data community. And in this podcast, I will be having a discussion with an experienced data scientist. And the most interesting fact is that this podcast will be around the service-based company because our guest is actually working as a lead data scientist at Tech Mahindra. So our guest will share all his experience about the complete interview process, specifically in the service-based companies, the compensation part at this experience level, and his journey is also very motivating, like coming from the marketing and product management kind of background to data and data scientist. And also he had some kind of gap as well, but here he will share everything which is really important for the senior data scientist and lead data scientist kind of interview roles, the expectation, the skill set, and what should be the focus area. So everything will be discussed. Very insightful podcast. Make sure you watch it till the very end. And I guess I am covering a podcast related to the service-based company for the first time. So if you want to see more and more podcasts related to the service-based companies, so make sure to put your thoughts, opinions, and those specific company names in the comment section. I'll definitely create a podcast for that company. And if you find it informative, then make sure to give it a like, and I will be aiming for at least 3,000 likes. And if you're new to the channel, then don't forget to smash the subscribe button and press the notification icon. Alright, so thank you so much, Thiru, for joining me on my podcast. And again, I'm really excited for this one because you are coming in such kind of background, right? And most important part, highly experienced as well. So that is why I wanted to help the aspiring data scientists who are looking for this kind of podcast. So it would be really great, Thiru, if you can give a short introduction to the audience who's watching you and anything about your academic and professional background.
Hi Shashank, this is Thirumurugan. I have graduated in BTech Biotechnology. After that, started working for a biopharmaceutical company around 4 years in marketing and sales. And then I completed my postgraduate in MBA specialization in marketing and operations. Then I had experience of 6 years in 3 different roles, such as management information system, data analyst, and then data scientist. And now I'm working with Tech Mahindra as a lead data scientist.
In the beginning, you started your career as a marketing manager and then moved into data science. So the question is, how did it start and how did that transition actually happen? You had that level of experience. So after 2014, what kind of changes you have seen so far in the data science domain?
See, if you listen, any specialization, decision making is a very important process. So we need to convert the data into visualization or data into insight. So or data into ML model for prediction and forecasting to make a better decision. So I decided to get into the data science during 2014 and 15. At that point of time, it's very difficult to find any institutions in online or any platform. It's very difficult. That was a challenging part. So after 2016 or 17 started evolving. I could able to find some online courses.
Like if I can ask you on that part as well, right? Doing the MBA part, right? Was it just a random decision or you thought, okay, let's try it out because I'm coming from such kind of BTech background?
Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, I got into the pharmaceutical, background. Then I got an opportunity to working in marketing and sales. So that I decided to get MBA to enhance that. But eventually, I realized that the data is changing. The data is a new oil. Data scientist is a sexiest job in 21st century. The lot of hypes. A lot of good things. So I decided to get into that. On top of it, every management perspective, the every top management, running a company is based on their key decision making. So data is a ubiquitous. Data is vital to make a decision. So I found that it has a very good opportunity as well. So it's a very good also. So I decided to get into data science.
Moving on to this part, right, Thiru, I know based on our conversation, I got to know about this part, right? You had a gap of 6 months as well. Okay, and you also talked about some course as well, like you took a course from the platform. So, like, can you explain about it? What was the reason of taking that month of gap, and what was the reason behind it, and also which platform did you use to upskill yourself?
Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, I got suffer with COVID. So
No.
I decided to quit the job for 6 months. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I got to know that GUVI, they are associated with IIT Madras. That course duration was 5 to 6 months. So I decided to join with GUVI, so that they covered from a basic to advanced level of analytics, including multiple tools such as SQL, Power BI and Python. They covered from basic level to advanced. So we could able to understand that. So that online platform, GUVI helped me to utilize that 6 months wisely. I got upskilled my data science.
The next follow-up question for that, right? So since you were associated with GUVI, right, and after that you are now working at Tech Mahindra as a lead data scientist, which is definitely very senior profile. So what kind of placement support did you get from the GUVI, right? How did they guide you in terms of the placement, and how did they actually help you to crack the interviews?
Yeah, the one thing is GUVI is every month they used to send like 4 5 opportunity per head. I got multiple opportunity, and even I got rejected like 6 or 7 companies, and still they could able to find a company for me. And apart from that, I also started my end also. So somehow I got placed in Tech Camp. It's a very good elite company. Yeah.
You would have also tried things by your own, right, to apply in different companies. So also you faced rejection, and what was the difference, right, applying by yourself and getting interview opportunity from GUVI?
Yeah, the whenever I got rejected from interview, I used to take all the question. I used to sit with mentor, who is from GUVI actually, and they used to give some sort of solution. They used to give cover in next classes all those questions. And of course, until unless you have a very good end-to-end ML project in resume, and you are more likely to get chances to get rejected. So you must have a few very good project, and you must be able to elaborate that in each and every point when during the interview. That's a very important part.
Okay, so far how many companies have rejected you?
I think 7 or 8 from my
7 or 8.
contest. Yeah.
Okay, so Thiru, now asking another important question, which is I think very much important for the aspiring data scientists who are watching this video. So you have a really good experience in the data science domain. You work for different domains as well, right? So you have seen that journey. So based on your experience, what do you think, what should be the correct path for someone to become a data scientist, right? How they can actually start, or how they can follow any good roadmap or path blindly to move into the data science? And another important part is, like, to crack senior level job roles, what should be our focus area in terms of the interview preparation?
Right, right. So during 2014-15, I couldn't find any institutions that I planned to become a self-taught data scientist, but it took like almost a couple of years to that. But that was not effective method. That was really not effective method. So you have to find some online platform or tutor or mentor someone. And then the first thing you have to learn about databases such as SQL or MongoDB, and then you have to learn some visualization tools such as Power BI, Tableau, 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, and you have to master at least 1 out of 3. And definitely you must learn statistics and mathematics, and at last you have to learn Python. And then you have to get exposed to in a various domains such as healthcare, banking and telecom.
Okay.
These important parameters, you have to be exposed to all those things.
Now, as a follow-up question, Thiru, if we talk about the senior data scientist role, right? So, what would be the expectation from these candidates in the interviews? Like, they have to be really good at the theoretical concepts, or they need to focus more on the design parts?
I think you have to be strong in both the things. There is no excuse when you are become an expert. No, they are expecting something from even from data engineering part as well as deployment part.
Okay.
So theoretically, they do ask you have to be very strong at from the database to till deployment.
Now you are working as a lead data scientist in one of the good service based company, which is Tech Mahindra. So why not to like explain and put some light on the entire interview process for the lead data scientist role specifically, because there are lots of people who are trying to crack the good service based companies as well, and especially for the senior roles. So this interview experience will be really helpful for them.
Yeah. For me, I had 4 rounds in at Tech Mahindra. First round is all basic questions like what is AI, what is ML, what is deep learning, and what are the packages involved in it, and types of graph. It's like it lasts 10 to 15 minutes, the technical round.
Okay.
And then technical round two had I had they asked me to explain end-to-end ML model. So very well, the ML model has multiple steps such as EDA, data visualization, data cleaning, and future engineering. Then creating pipelines, and then creating train and test data set, and model selection, and then hyperparameter tuning and deployments. And these 8 9 steps I have to explain with my project. They asked me to open in collab, so every step I have taken to them. They asked a lot of questions in each and every step. I explained my best of experience.
Okay.
And then I had a last round, manager round, HR round. That was pretty straightforward round.
So looks like a pretty decent interview approach. So that is great, and thanks for sharing that, Thiru. I think this one will be really helpful for the audience to even prepare themselves for these kind of companies, what all things they need to focus on. So moving on to next question, and I think that is also like has always been a debative topic, service based companies versus product based companies. But I won't be asking that question now. Simply, let's say you're working in a service based company, Tech Mahindra, that is also a very good company. So what's your take on the like advantages of working in the service based company, right? What kind of environment and what kind of learning someone can expect in the service based firm?
Yeah, as a start with lead data scientist, the Tech Mahindra is a really good company. I should vouch that. Service based company will always give you exposure to multiple projects. A lot of learning curves you do have. So that's a fantastic place to start with. I'm not worked in any product based company, so I think I'm not a good position to comment on it. But people would say that product based company has offer to more salary, they have a better exposure. But let's see.
And that's why like even I suggest people like they come to me and they ask how we can prepare for the product based companies, like how we can crack mang level companies. We are freshers, we don't know much about it. So my suggestion to them is just start with your career, prepare for the good service based companies, because even the interview level is not gonna be very tough. It would be decent, right? You can crack it with a decent amount of effort, and after getting some experience, then you can target good product based companies. So moving on to next question, Thiru, and that is related to the monetary part. So since you have a good experience on the service based company, so at your experience level, what amount of CTC candidates can expect from these companies like the Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Infosys, Accenture, Capgemini?
Right. If you have experience of 4 to 6 years in a data scientist, you will be able to get like between 14 lakhs to 18 lakhs. In case if you have any offer in hand, you may at good position to negotiate. Still you can go for up to 20 21, and based on their budget and based on your negotiation skills, it will be like hovering around between 14 to 20 lakhs easily for 4 to 6 year experience.
It seems like a very good amount as well, right? In compared to other companies, right? And especially in the service based companies, if with this much of experience you are getting this much of salary, that is definitely a good one. I have one curious question, right? Because I am a data engineer, I haven't worked practically on a data science and the data analyst profile, but you have seen both of the journeys. So, in a very crisp manner, if you, or let's say to any layman person, if you want to explain what is the role of data analyst and what is the role of data scientist and how they are different with each other, so what would be that?
Okay, I'll tell you. Data analyst mostly they do only descriptive analytics. If they're giving the data, you will be able to analyze what was happened. Last 2 years, 3 years,
Okay.
and they will be able to give some insight. When it is come to the data scientists, they would be able to predict the future. Forecast. So that's a difference between data analyst and data scientist. If we have experience of 2 to 3 years in data analyst, it will be really helpful to become a data scientist. That's a stepping stone of becoming a data scientist.
So I have just one last question, Thiru, for you, and that would be our end of the podcast. And this is a kind of myth as well, and you can say a most often asked question from the aspiring data scientist, that the master's degree or the PhD or the very very good expertise on the mathematics side is mandatory to become a data scientist. So what do you think about it?
Okay, learning is a continuous process. Obviously, if you have a master degree or PhD, it is really going to helpful for a data scientist, but it is not a mandatory. I feel that interest is the first and foremost thing to become a data scientist, not a degree. But eventually, once you become a data analyst, eventually you have to start try to add some basic qualifications. You can incrementally you do some degree or certifications, but it is not mandatory. I'm sure about that.
Okay. Yeah, I also agree with that part, but I wanted to hear it from you, so that our audience can also get to know about it, that yes, it is not mandatory. And that is the reason I asked this question, because the person who's actually working in that domain can answer this question in the best possible way. Amazing. So that is a very very good information, and thank you so much, Thiru, for joining me in this podcast and giving this wonderful insight about the data science role, working in service based company, and especially the lead data scientist role, cracking the interviews. Every single information was top notch and very very meaningful, and I hope this will be really helpful for all the folks who are watching this video. So from their side and from my side, a big thank you, and all the best for your journey as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shashank. Nice talking to you through this YouTube. Thank you.
So that's what I had for you guys in this podcast. I'm pretty sure you would have enjoyed the entire conversation and experience shared by Thirumurugan, and his experience as a lead data scientist, at least from the interview perspective and the preparation perspective, will be really really helpful for all such folks who are targeting good service based companies. And if you find it informative, then again, like this video in the big numbers, share it with your friends and colleagues, and I will see you guys in the next week with another amazing podcast. Till then, just stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your family too.